Tell me about what gave you kind of the empowerment to decide to stop. And then it sounds like when you stopped at the age of 18, you had another short stint with it. So
Sure.
perhaps you could reflect on stopping.
Yeah. So 18, there wasn't really any logic in stopping then. It was just sort of like, oh, I'm going to university. Um, I don't feel like taking it. You kind of have a different schedule. University is not as early morning starts. Although I was an early morning person in high school. I had lots of sports stuff on before school, but yeah, I don't know, just with my schedule and just a feeling, I just chose not to have it. I hadn't woken up to anything at all, and
Mm,
obviously having it for 9 years prior, the residual effect was super strong then. So I was basically the same person. It wasn't like
mm,
it's a changed person getting off it. I lived overseas for a year uh, in my second year of uni, and yeah, when I got back, I I then I had to go to the psychiatrist for like this time was I mean as an adult I sort of went myself because I thought that I was doing the right thing. Like I went for antidepressants, and that was only like a couple of months, and they then had me on sleeping pills because it was messing with my sleep, and that was when it all just like clicked to me that this whole like chemical thing was just it's got to stop. And so yeah, around 21 or 2022, that was when I was still in the later stages. I had done a few months on 2 or 3 months on antidepressants, which ended with like the sleeping pill, and that was when it all clicked. Like there's something really wrong. I didn't know any of the Peter Bregan stuff, but I just knew I needed to. I just knew I needed to stop, and that this was, I was being farmed, or like I was being conned. I had to stop, and it was kind of just too much. So I got off it, and I had already been a healthy person in terms of eating, exercise, screen time, and all that stuff. And so nothing really changed in my diet, but I just realized I needed to take off, get out of all those drugs, the medications. I think it's better to call it medications because if you say drugs, then people might clip it and be like, oh, he's talking about something else. But I'm talking about medications. So the antidepressant, sleeping pill. The sleeping pill, yeah, it was like the last straw. I was only on it for like less than a month, but I just realized I'm on three things right now. What the f is going on? Um, how can this be? How can this be the best option?
mm. Wow.
And the funny thing is, those are all, it's not funny, but those are all well known side effects, right? Sleep, and that's another thing I didn't mention earlier on when I was going through childhood side effects. Sleep problems, like I really really struggled to get to sleep. Thankfully, back in my day, we didn't have smartphones, so I was just reading, and that was probably beneficial for me. But I had a lot of struggles getting to sleep, um, and so insomnia is listed as a side effect of Ritalin. Um, and then the antidepressant angle. Well, depression is a side effect of Ritalin, I think,
Mm,
or depressive mood, right?
mm,
And so that naturally followed, and then
mm.
um, the insomnia from the Ritalin. Then you're on the sleeping pills.
Oh my gosh.
Um, but I mean, this is not the worst it could have been. Like I've heard stories in America. America seems to have the worst of the worst for this
Yes.
psychiatry stuff. But I've heard from some of Peter Bregan's work that he's had kids on two or three things at the same time. Yeah, under 10-year-olds on two or three psychiatric medications at the same time. So I think that's much worse.
It's one thing to prescribe a drug for a period of time that is longer than the experiments that allowed it to hit the market in the first place, because that happens.
Mm.
But it's quite another to do that extended length of time that we really now is the first experiment of, in combination with multiple medications. That is just, I don't know even what the word would be for that. I want to say criminal, but I don't want to be inflammatory. But really, how does a psychiatrist justify that? I don't think there is a valid justification for that.